Lowry, Bobby Despotovsky, etc., etc., all under the leadership of Mitch Davray. These days, it's Economides and Castro and one or two others led by Tony Popovic. And as we said, it is a warm day today, 31 degrees at kick-off. Thunderstorms are predicted later on today, but we should just about get through today's game without them hitting. So as they go through the handshake routine, we'll remind you of the team news. A couple of changes for City. Both are enforced due to those suspensions to Richie Delat and Bart Schenkeveld, who both accrued 5 yellows. Big boots to fill then for Nathaniel Atkinson at right back, and particularly Jacopo LaRocca, who's played just 33 minutes off the bench since his last start against the Mariners back in round 2. Jamie McLaren looking to equal Charlie Miller's A-League record tonight. The Scotsman scored in his first 4 matches for Brisbane back in 08-09. McLaren will match that if he scores for City tonight. Now, by contrast, Tony Popovic goes with an unchanged lineup, close to a full-strength 11, with only Tomislav Machela and Alex Grant ruled out with injury. That front 3 will again be key, and Castro and Keogh in particular like this place. Castro has 7 goals in 10 here at AAMI, Keogh 6 in 14, and the Irishman needs 1 more for his best ever seasonal return. Late change on the bench for City. Dario Vidicic has dropped out with injury, so Connor Metcalfe comes in. Joel Chianese has 9 assists this season for Perth. That's more than any other A-League player. Well, his team aren't wooden spoon contenders. They are in the final spots, and they are unbeaten at AAMI Park here in the last 8 games. Yet he is probably the most under-pressure coach in the A-League at the moment. That is Warren Joyce, and it's his 50th A-League game in charge of City tonight. Tony Popovic closing in on his 2nd premiership as a coach after leading the Wanderers to the same honour in their inaugural campaign. That would give Glory, of course, their first ever spot in the Champions League. We all know what happened with the Wanderers in that tournament in their first year. Referee tonight, Alex King, one of the younger A-League officials, taking charge of just his 17th game. And should he be needed, Chris Griffiths-Jones is running the VAR back in Sydney. Chris's favourite English team, Gillingham, conceded a stoppage-time goal last night. Sorry, Chris. There is the Mac, and he's in fine form, isn't he, for City? 3 goals in 3, a former Perth favourite, of course, as well. 11 goals in 38 games in Glory colours between 2013 and 15. Here's one of the men who's taken over his mantle, Chris Economides, 8 goals in 13 this season, which has earned him a place in the Socceroos Asian Cup squad alongside McLaren. And if you believe the rumours, maybe another crack at Europe next season. Glory fans will hope not, of course. So it is warm, pitch looks good though. Glory about to kick us off. And it is potentially another pivotal day in the top half of the A-League. Glory looking to go egg clear at the summit, as mentioned. City looking to banish the memory of a rather traumatic week. Who wins it and why, Andy?
Well, I think Perth win because they're too good. And there's a couple of significant gaps in the Melbourne City.
Oh, hello. Wow, Liam Reddy. Really good piece of improvisation. Dino Djurbic, to call that a hospital pass is a bit of an understatement. He couldn't use his hands, of course, because it was a back pass, but he did really well, Liam Reddy. Here's Berenguer. And that's a more purposeful clearance by Sporanovic and helped further clear by Lowry. Glory almost embarrassed in the opening moments.
Yeah, of course, just forewarned, anything can happen in a game of football. But the absence of Delat and Schenkeveld should tip the scales in favour of the team that leads the comp, all things considered. That doesn't take into account errant back passes, and thankfully for Perth, the quick thinking of Liam Reddy here, because as the ball was spinning in, I was wondering how he was going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Wonderful work from Liam Reddy, having a great season.
You have to be as quick with your noggin as you do your feet and your hands in this game as a goalkeeper. Davidson keeps this one in play. Little layoff by Keogh. Kilkenny, of course, back on familiar territory. Another one of those players who left Melbourne City under a little bit of a cloud after a fallout with Warren Joyce. What a season he's having in purple.
Well, just on that point, Simon, you know, sometimes clubs or coaches can say, well, the club didn't back me in what I wanted to do and left me out to dry. I don't think whatever happens from here on in, Warren Joyce can level that criticism at Melbourne City. They've backed him all the way.
They sure have. And if it was a culture problem, you'd probably say, OK, fair enough. But the issue is that they're halfway down the league and not winning matches. Might have a chance here, though. Shayon Harrison looking to tee up his teammate McLaren. And Lowry get away with that one. But City have made a good start.
They have really good energy. Liam Reddy doing well. Just 2 minutes into the game, he's delivered two very, very important interventions.
This is Scott Jamieson, the City captain. Kieran Backus, Jamieson continued the run. Slightly overcooked, that's out. It's not going to count. Although I won't do Jamie McLaren's confidence any harm. Here's that previous opportunity. Flying body of Liam Reddy, and the hands to the rescue on this occasion.
Just a little too heavy, that pass from Backus, unfortunately, for Melbourne City. Read nothing into the fact that McLaren was able to score that, not just the offside, but the Perth defenders had all switched off, knew it was going to be a goal kick.
Here's the mercurial Diego Castro. Spotted the run of Franich, but couldn't reward it. Even the greats sometimes misplace passes. Where do you stand on this big conversation that's been brewing over the last few weeks as to whether Diego Castro is the best of all time? Does he top Thomas Broich for you?
No, he doesn't. Not in my mind. A fantastic discussion to have. To do with a few more Thomas Broiches and a few more Diego Castros, to be honest with you. But one man doesn't win a comp. However, I do think it's an important consideration when you're talking about best CVs and best contributions to have some silverware behind your claims.
Well, he surely will in a few weeks' time. Keogh handballed that before he was dragged back by La Rocca. Well, yeah, he did drag you back, Andy. Unfortunately, you handled the ball before that.
Well, he's saying it. He used his chest, but he didn't. It's bicep. Good lesson in anatomy for Andy Keogh.
So certainly a venue that Perth have enjoyed playing at in the past. 9 wins and 8 draws in their 26 visits to AAMI Park. McLaren looking to link up with Berenguer. In fact, only McDonald Jones Stadium is a more preferred venue in terms of away grounds for the Glory. That's games combined, of course, against City and Victory. They were perhaps surprisingly beaten by Newcastle and Geelong last night, which does, again, put a little bit more pressure on City, sitting in 5th on the ladder at the moment. Just 3 clear now of Newcastle in 7th. Wellington between them on 28. All of a sudden we've got a race on our hands again for the top 6, which is good to see from the neutrals' point of view.
Exactly, resurgent Newcastle, who've been good enough to at least be in this position. A number of matches where they played well and just squandered chances has really curtailed their progress, but they're back in the fight, which is where they should be.
This is Economides, that's the As Live ladder. Point today would take Perth 6 clear of Sydney. And Victory having missed their chance to close the gap on the Sky Blues last night. It's a good short touch by Shayon Harrison. And a foul on the Frenchman, Berenguer. Clumsy from Dino Jorbic. Overhit by Curtis Good. Nicely measured though by Reddy with the throw. Davidson, not sure whether that's exactly where he wanted it to go, but find its way through to Idan Franjic. of talk this week around these parts, of course, about Bruno Fornaroli. Can all but confirm that Fornaroli will be a Perth Glory player next season. And there's City's last 5 results without the Uruguayan. Doesn't look too flash, does it? Just 1 win in their last 8 in total. Well, I thought LaRocca won the ball pretty fairly there. His feet were down. There was no stud showing. Maybe you disagree, Andy.
I don't agree with your assessment, but I think the referee's decided that that's a bit careless.
Okay.
You know, his stretching, you know, that could get dangerous. I'm with the ref on that one. His boot was a bit up too to start with, which it has to be at the stretch. It's impossible unless you're a ballerina out of the London School of Ballet to get that point work going. Have you ever done the point work? You did 2-2 on? How's your cod piece? How's your cod piece?
Not big enough. Anyway, on reflection, yes, I agree with you. Fair decision. Let's see what Perth can do with the free kick. Floated by Kilkenny. Good climb at the back post. Put back in by Franic, and Keogh was just waiting for any slip up by Galekovic, but there was not. Flat release. Barangay getting chased, and he'll get there ahead of Kilkenny. Only McLaren in the box. And Julbic, or rather Spranovic, steers it back out towards Shane Lowry. Turn by Funday to his compatriot Castro. Funday has played a very solid role in the heart of that midfield alongside Kilkenny. There's Perth's last 5. Here's a chance for Keogh over the top of Galekovic, but the flag was up. It wouldn't have counted against Andy Keogh. The Irishman had just strayed the wrong side of the offside line. He is the most caught offside player in the A-League this season. There's another one for the tally, Andy.
Yeah, clearly offside. Good chance. You know, it leaves me beat. I mean, it just the smallest of adjustments, and you're onside. I mean, is it beyond Pete? I'm talking on a consistent basis.
I agree. There's those last 5 again. That's consistency for you. 4 wins and a draw, the last 5. As mentioned, 5 more from their last 7, and they will be premiers no matter what else happens.
And that draw last week, of course, quick reflection, was the last kick of the game. So they had another win bagged for all intents and purposes.
Castro, is he going to break for Keogh this time? LaRocca keeping Andy Keogh at arm's length. And Davidson was coming back from an offside position, didn't bother going for the ball. Atkinson content to let it roll behind. It's been a real roller coaster ride, hasn't it, for Warren Joyce over his 1 3/4 seasons in the A-League. Started off, you might remember, the answer of last season with 4 straight wins. Couldn't maintain the rage. What he wouldn't do for a win here this afternoon. 5 matches without one, just 1 win in their last 8, all told, City.
Interesting your pre-game chat with him, Simon, where...
Seemed in good spirits, didn't he?
Very much so, but I thought the key revelation was, no, I don't let it affect me, but at the end of the interview, it's turned me great.
I think that was more to make a point to me, to be fair. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it has to affect you. There's so much speculation around this club at the moment. It wouldn't be human if it didn't. Rocker with plenty of time and just sort of lumps it forward rather aimlessly. Lowry not under any real pressure. Kilkenny finding Castro. A little slip by Economides, didn't he recover well? Again, good improvisation, same as Liam Reddy in the opening moments of the game. Kilkenny, that's a lovely ball. Managed to split the defensive line, but Jamieson is back in position. This is Harrison.
Well, that from Economides is the epitome of playing the lizard system, I think. Or the snake system.
It's
now.
the Johnny Tambouras.
Yes.
Come on, Harps.
Yeah. Man, you've got to be airborne. Please, a bit of respect for JT. Now, this is the snake system being employed by Tony Popovich.
Is that different to Miron Bleiberg's lizard system?
No, I think every successful strategy needs a little bit of a tweak every now and again.
Austin Griffiths, former Perth player, of course, trying to find another in McLaren. Davids. Fired by Atkinson. This is Breton. Jamieson into a decent area for Harrison. Bacchus. Bratton again, and this is the problem for City. We saw this a lot in the derby last week. They string a fair few passes together, but don't necessarily make an awful lot of progress. Bratton going the more direct route in towards Deronguet and McLaren. Flags up for offside, but Alex King content to play on because Perth have the ball. So slightly overdone by Kilkenny. Deronguet. Oh, Lowry. Down through the back of him. The Frenchman stayed down. Alex King saw nothing untoward. But Perth's attention has been drawn to the Frenchman's plight, so they sportingly kick the ball out. Which I know doesn't always please you.
Not at all.
Harper.
Not at all.
Let the ref make the decision. That's your point of view, isn't it?
Well, it's a heavy touch. He's done well to keep it in. Now he's entitled to go for the ball from the side. Both players are gone 50-50. Gary's up, he's okay. Game didn't need to stop. Ball in at the feet of the maestro, Diogo Castro, in space. So who loses there? The fans.
Floated nicely by Sporanovic into the path of Ivan Franic. Juande. With Shane Lowry. It's good football by Perth. Lovely football. What a ball from Castro. Davidson there ahead of Atkinson. Has he got enough of a trick to get around the youngster? The answer is no. It's a throw. Castro has, just about to say, such great vision, and the curse pre-empted me as he turned the ball over. But that previous ball, Andy, was delightful.
Yeah, beautiful. And look, good communication from Davidson to Castro, and a good run from Davidson as well.
This is a strong run by Atkinson. Deronguet. Bratton available. Little switch out towards Jamieson. Can they find the right delivery? The answer is no. All too often, that's the end product for Melbourne City. Interesting stat I saw this week, Harps. If Perth win all of their last 7 games, easy to say, of course, in a breath or two, but they will become statistically the best side over a regular season in the 44-45-year history of National League football in Australia. That includes the NSL, of course.
Yeah, well, and what an achievement. Long way off, as you say. Have they got it in them? I think the split round phenomenon over the next few weeks will help that cause. A little rest in between games. Two of your key challenges, Sydney and Melbourne victory, involved in Champions League.
The way they've gone so far this season, you certainly wouldn't put it past them. Just that solitary loss to Sydney FC. Funday beautifully finding his compatriot Castro. Atkinson standing his ground. One to the youngster.
Well, that's the spring with which Popovic took his feet and got that ball back to his team to play on, then applauded the quick throw-in. Bit of a sign of intent for Perth. To keep Melbourne City on the back foot, keep the pressure on, keep the ball moving, keep the intensity up.
Two Spaniards combining again. Castro on for Jason Davidson, but rush of blood to the head. And the ball flew over the top.
The question, I'm sure, from Andy Keogh to Jason Davidson is, was that a shot?
I think it was.
Because why aren't you trying to cross it from there? Defenders, as Sashov Donosky spoke in pre-game, defenders flat to the boards in retreat. A ball fired across the face of the defenders could bounce off them into the goal. They miss it. Keogh's there for a tap-in. The shot from that angle was perhaps ill-advised.
Minutes played. Lowry continuing their record of not having conceded a single goal in the opening 15 minutes of any game this season. On the back foot here, though, McLaren chests it down. Sparanovic sorts it out. Only momentarily. Economides claiming a foul. Harrison gets a throw for City. Between Harrison and Jamieson. So they're ready. Happy to watch it onto the top of the goal. Had all the angles covered, despite the use and arse from behind it. Seem to remember Reddy having an astonishing game here at AAMI Park a couple of seasons back, where he saved 2 penalties that end of the ground. Bruno Fornaroli was, of course, the man he was facing on that occasion. Foul by La Rocca on Keogh. That's certainly a battle to keep an eye on. 1 or 2 little exchanges already. And Bacchus is going to be booked for not retreating quickly enough as he watched that replay to allow the free kick to be taken. First yellow card of the game. And his 6th of the season. Diagonal by Shane Lowry. One in the air by Good. Brought down by Franic. Economides. Squared by Jorbic. Had to be a sure touch by Lowry, and he'll dart into that little pocket of space between the lines. Now with Davidson. Atkinson prevents the throw, unfortunately for him, at the expense of a corner.
Well, let's hope for Atkinson's sake it doesn't result in a goal for Perth, because that would be cruel. He did put in a big effort to try and keep the ball in for his team after after it was Roston Griffiths whose clearance was shanked.
Corner taken short in front of those travelling Glory fans. And Kilkenny can't find the passing lane. McLaren invited to chase this one. Sporanovic there first. Well defended. Already being hurried along by the arrival of McLaren. This is Hyundai. Keogh. Trying to protect the ball in the face of strong challenges by both Griffiths and LaRocca. So far not been too many signs of Perth looking to exploit that lack of pace in the back line that's potentially could be exposed with the absence of Bart Schenkerveld, Richie Delat. City have dealt with it reasonably well. It's a little too strong by Bratton. Right idea for McLaren.
Yeah, you've got to, given where Melbourne City's attack has been, you've got to appreciate what Bratton is trying to do around the box now and be far more definitive and cutting with his passing.
Around beautifully by Davidson, but Keogh beaten in the air by Good. Bratton on the ball again. It's a very handy ball indeed for Shayon Harrison. He has Julbic in close attendance. Still Shayon Harrison heads for the byline, and strong hands again from Liam Reddy to keep it away from Jamie McLaren.
Well, Liam Reddy is emphasising the importance of very good goalkeeping for teams that win football matches. We saw it last night. Melbourne victory good enough in general play to win that game, but couldn't get past Glenn Moss. And Reddy, of the two keepers here, has been far more involved. There's three now. Really, really important pieces of work from the Perth clubman. And we're yet to... Melbourne City are yet to rely upon Eugene Galekovic for anything like that at the other end of the field.
So you're aware, because of the nature of the weather today, we are going to have a drinks break. That's coming up in about half a minute's time. Just to give the players a little bit of a breather. Good. Couldn't quite pick out Berongay. Bacchus. And again, plenty of passes being strung together by City. Can they find any penetration at the end of it? Jamison's ball, beautiful! What a goal! Picked out Jamie McLaren on a dime. And he now has 4 in 4, Jamie McLaren. And he's trying to make City fans forget all about Bruno Fornaroli. Well, what a peach of a delivery from Scott Jamieson. 1-0 City.
Well, no delay. Jamieson controls, looks up, the Perth defence retreating, not able to adjust in time to the danger of Jamie McLaren, who gets between Sporanovic and Lowry and finishes with perfect efficiency. Delightful header, superb cross. Time for a drink.
Yeah, that is indeed drinks. And as we go down to Michael Zapponi and Sasha Ognanovsky, just a reminder that Jamie McLaren, guys, has now equalled Charlie Miller's all-time A-League record, scoring goals in each of his first 4 games for his new club. Zappa.
Yeah, I wonder whether that's a good time or a bad time to score. It's almost quarter time, isn't it, Sash? We were talking about in the pre-game, Melbourne City's indecisiveness going forward. Scott Jamieson 3 or 4 times last week against Melbourne victory, going sideways, going backwards. That was beautiful to watch.
Well, that's what you want to see. You want to see your fullback get to the line and cross that ball in, gives their striker every opportunity, and Jamie McLaren with his 4th goal, thought it was fantastic.
What about Perth Glory? We've seen Tony Popovich especially give out instructions to Andy Keogh in that first half about changing the angles of his run.
Well, they want to exploit the partnership or the lack of a partnership between Rocker and Atkinson, and we're always seeing Popper screaming out to Andy Keogh to get in between them, and they're always trying to get Jamieson, Davidson,
yep.
down the line and getting in behind. They were a bit frustrated that he had that shot earlier on, but that's where they want to exploit the side, the space there for Andy Keogh and obviously Davidson to get in behind that left-hand side there.
Yeah, the mood has certainly lifted down on the sideline, Simon.
Yeah, a bit of a wake-up call. Thanks very much, Zappa and Sasha. It is the 5th time only this season that Glory have conceded the first goal in a game, but a little warning sign, Andy, for Melbourne City. Of the previous 4, Glory have won 2, drawn 1 and lost just the once. That was against Sydney, of course. Still a long way to go. City tails are up. And you wonder, had Jamie McLaren been with City from the start of the season, would things have turned out a little bit better for them in terms of their league position? Easy to say, of course, and we didn't know what was going to happen with Fornaroli then, did we?
No, that's true. Jamie's been here for the last 4 weeks and scored his goals, which is great, but
here's Harrison.
The team hasn't been getting the results, which is not Jamie's fault. It just goes to show it's a more complex discussion than deleting one and including another.
Now we've got a problem here with Hyundai, which is why Alex King has blown the whistle. Spaniard needs some attention. I think he's signalling that there's a cut to the face of the Spaniard. It's clearly gone down pretty heavily. Here's how it happened. It's just that arm that Harrison uses to fend off the Spaniard, but he's clearly caught him. Should any sanction be forthcoming for Harrison?
It was a stray arm. It was a stray forearm across the chops. I'm not sure of the force of that contact. I think that was conclusive in that replay, but very clearly the forearm was up and it copped Hyundai across the chops.
I think Diego Castro is perhaps indicating that it's either a finger that's gone in the eye or he's caught him on the cheekbone. Something in that area. Here's another look at it.
Well, Hyundai comes in, the arm goes up.
Difficult to tell from that
angle. It's a fine line. It's a really fine line.
And what is obvious is that it hurts Hyundai.
I think what we're sort of hovering around without saying, and I'll say it now, does that count as violent conduct? Well, the VAR is within his rights, or their rights, to view that as an act of violent conduct, and we'll wait for them to decide.
Still doesn't look too happy, does he, Hyundai? Yeah, it's that spot, I think, just underneath the eye. And clearly they've got to take every precaution, given where it is on the body. Eye drops applied. And Glory continuing with 10 just for the moment. And a bit of a wake-up call for Perth this opening half an hour. 100% sure that ball had crossed the line before Davidson picked it up. Anyway, Hyundai still off the pitch, still receiving attention. I wonder whether he's got a bit of blurred vision, which of course will be tricky to continue with. This is Castro. And hotly pursued by Bratton. Good spin by Kilkenny.
Super play from Kilkenny.
Again.
Like he's got 3 of them around him.
He's still going.
Imagine.
How did he wriggle through there? And then Castro has rather carelessly turned it over. He might break for Economides. Galekovic volleys it clear, only as far as Franic. And there's Castro back on the ball again. Lovely little reverse ball for Franic. Perth threatening here. Economides waiting for it to drop. Atkinson ensured it didn't. Back in by Kilkenny. Little stumble by Economides. Might have just slowed his momentum there. It's a couple of times he's slipped on the turf.
Yeah, it happens with regularity here at AAMI Park. There's a good chance there for Economides. Maintains his footing.
Has he got the wrong boots on, Andy?
Well, how many times do you hear coaches of the old school, mostly, get some studs on? Well, it's too late for that. I'll warm up to sort that out.
Ready, wanted a touch. Lowry under pressure. They've got to be careful here. Perth, Julbic has been caught. Bacchus, Berengay onside. McLaren at the near post. And they appeal for hands. Yes, Alex King had to think about it and then points to the penalty spot. Handball given. And City will have the chance to go 2 goals clear from 11 metres.
Well, a horrible mess up by Perth. Not the Lowry pass in. That's, given what we've seen so far, is going to be handball on Shane Lowry.
Well, his arm was out, wasn't it? That's the problem. And it's just glanced off that arm that is used for balance, really.
I think that...
but it's away from the body.
Well, it's impossible to slide and not have your arm out there. That's the first thing that people aren't prepared to accept.
Well, here we are again at this venue, at this end of the ground. Liam Reddy, as mentioned already in this game, saved a couple from Bruno Forderoli a couple of years back. Let's see if he can repeat the trick against Jamie McLaren, who scored last weekend from the spot in the Melbourne derby. And is 6 from 8 from the penalty mark in the A-League. Big moment this potentially in this game. McLaren against Reddy. Jamie McLaren makes no mistake. He has a double, and City are 2 clear.
That's a good penalty from Jamie McLaren, and earned the right in some respects to take it, because it was his hustle of Mats Baranovic which caused the cards to fall in favour of Melbourne City, and McLaren emphatic from the spot. And Mats Baranovic with the loss of possession, been very good to this point, Baranovic. And it's Melbourne City with the unlikely lead.
And what a difference, Andy, a couple of goals make to the mood around this place. All the talk this week has been pretty downbeat, rather negative about Forderoli and Joyce. And I did say, didn't I, in the opening seconds, they're like Forrest Gump and his box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get with Melbourne City. And you did sense that maybe the visit of the league leaders today might bring out the best in them. That's the way it's proved so far, but a long way to go, of course, still yet. Here's Bratton. Searching ball. Sparanovic has to make it. And he's turned it over to McLaren, who in turn gives Glory a throw. So the league leaders in a spot of difficulty here at AAMI Park. Much from them yet in an attacking sense. Maybe that's about to change. Economides, it's Castro, he's put it wide. And they are asking the question about the challenge on the Spaniard from Galekovic. And Alex King is just going to check on the welfare of Diego Castro. Was there anything in that to suggest there should have been a penalty awarded at the other end here, Andy?
Ball gone. takes him out. Ball's still in play. Clearly it's going to miss. Well, is that acceptable any other place on the field? If that's a foul outside the box, it's a foul inside the box.
The protests weren't too vociferous, they weren't too long from the Glory players, but one or two did ask the question. Yeah, I mean, that
I'm
angle
sorry,
makes it clearer than ever for me.
If you're not in the penalty
right.
box and it's not a goal-scoring chance and the ball goes wide, it's still a free kick. But people think, oh, well, he's missed the chance at goal. It doesn't ameliorate against the fact that that was a foul.
Well, there you go. Big talking point. One spot kick given at one end, but not at the other. Castro wins out in the duel with Berenguer. Economides, not seen too much of him so far in this game. He's having a great season. Morocco strong in the challenge, but fair, according to Alex King, who was well positioned. Economides, needless to say, does not agree. What do you reckon to that one, Andy? Yeah, I think that's a foul as well, you know.
Well, I'm Chris Economides. I'm certainly asking the question, as Chris did.
Both of City's shots have resulted in goals. Glory yet to really find their rhythm. Davidson gets the better of Atkinson. Kilkenny. One day had a little look and was collected from behind by Luke Bratton. Lowry would love to get one back, at least, before the break. Chested down by Franic. One day. Who's none the worse for wear for his problems with Harrison some moments ago. Davidson. Offside.
That's a tight one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really tight.
I don't think he kept the ball in play in any case, but
he's been strong down the left again. Very strong season in general for Jason Davidson, but he's been strong and constant threat today at Melbourne City, but it's yet to materialise into some real chances on goal, apart from that Castro one, which I still maintain should have been a penalty.
Economides, touch a little bit off again. Good, has to hurry. Harrison coming back from an offside position, which is why he didn't play at the ball. Glory just not at their swashbuckling best at the moment. Certainly moments of promise. Griffiths. Oh, that's presented the ball rather carelessly at the feet of Economides. With strength by Castro. Well, he's blown the whistle, Alex King. Why didn't he play on? Diego Castro looks at it as if to say, what are you doing? We had a break on there with Davidson on the left. Maybe he felt he'd waited long enough.
Well, there has been some pretty heavy contact around the place. Wasn't the heaviest of it, of course. He wasn't. The criticism of the ref, we didn't even look left to see what was opening up.
Still have the free kick, which is turned left by Kilkenny. Into the box by Juande, and Shane Lowry will get there. And it flashes across the face of the City box. They get it partly away. Castro, still plenty in the penalty area if you can pick one out. And again the whistle goes. Another free kick taken quickly by Castro. Franic to clip it in. Julbic leapt. Away by LaRocca, back in by Lowry. And Atkinson won the subsequent aerial duel, and City survive. And now get a free kick of their own.
A really excellent defensive header from LaRocca in there. A quick free kick taken by Perth. And Melbourne City, testament to their levels of focus here today, didn't get caught short, and LaRocca with an outstanding defensive header.
As that as live ladder would potentially open up the Premier's plate race again, Andy, if Glory were to lose here today. Sydney won, of course, a couple of days back against Adelaide. Gap is down to 5. Glory still have to travel to Sydney before the end of the season. Spotted Reddy ever so slightly off his line. Rather chopped across his effort on goal. Still yet to open his account in City colours, the Frenchman. Greenwich showing too much of it to Bratton. Officially the final minute of the first half, but of course we did have that drinks break. And a bit of a stoppage for the injury to Juande, helped on by Davidson. LaRocca there again. He's had a pretty decent first half.
Oh, very good. I mean, Melbourne City have been very good. Been robust, very, very strong and committed in the challenges. Really, the grips of it yet, hit their straps. Probably a little bit more out of, given the way Perth have set up this year, Simon, a bit more out of Ivan Franic down the right-hand side. Davidson's been with the normal service down the left, but they haven't had the same penetration down the right so far.
Let's see what Ivan can do here. Turns back towards Julbic. Kilkenny. He's trying to weave his way through again centrally. Franic. Harrison's done a good job, actually, keeping Franic honest down that flank. They try and hit Davidson at the back post, but it's beyond him as we move into the first of 4 additional minutes at the end of the first half.
And in the end, Simon, you know, the big difference between the teams and the reason why the score is like it is. Castro and Kilkenny, great seasons, have played well today, but on the final pass, they've missed more today than they have all season. Castro, a couple of notable occasions you've mentioned, that last one from Neil Kilkenny, well within his passing range, and he just mishit it. Then you flick the discussion to Melbourne City, and that McLaren goal to set them away was just a beautiful ball in from Scott Jamieson. So it's the quality that's determined it in the end for Melbourne City here so far. A little bit sloppy defensively from Perth. You think to the Julbic back pass that Reddy had to scramble
opening
the first
minutes of the game, yeah.
And then Spiranovic getting caught on the edge of halfway or in the lead up to the Melbourne City penalty. So Popovic with a couple of issues to straighten out at half-time.
Kilkenny, too straight, too hard for both Castro and Keogh. Andy Keogh, 12 goals this season, equals his best ever seasonal return. He's barely had a sniff in this first half. One day. Economides. Castro. Well read by Atkinson. Ferried back by Bacchus towards his goalkeeper Galekovic. Lowry watched the spinning ball, but it drops for Bratton. Now a bit of room ahead of Jamieson. That's, I think we'll call that ambitious from Bratton.
Well, there has been more ambition in his passing generally today, particularly around
and
the penalty
City's
area.
generally.
Yeah. So I think that's been a good development for the home team.
Goal kick. So Glory's 11-match unbeaten run since that 2-1 loss to Sydney on the 21st of December. He's had a pretty serious examination in this first half. Can they turn things around? Franic having a turn not once but twice, eventually back towards Julbic. A little too eager by LaRocca. Lowry trying to get things moving quickly. Castro through heavy traffic. Oh, and LaRocca. Pretty ugly challenge that was. And he's going to be booked, and now he's got to watch his step, the Italian.
Well, in their desperation, just overstepping the mark. I mean, there are legs flying everywhere, all the way through this sequence.
It was the quickly taken free kick that did for LaRocca, really, because he was out of position.
Clear yellow card.
Kilkenny with the free kick. Going to clip it towards Julbic, who met it well. Oh, it's a great save by Galekovic to deny Chris Economides. Top work by the veteran goalkeeper.
Well, they set it up nicely, Perth. Sporanovic winning the first header.
And the corner's been taken, and Julbic flying it at the back post. Couldn't keep the header down, and that is half-time. And at the end of that opening section, Glory's unbeaten away record is under serious threat. Galekovic has picked up an injury in that tangle with Julbic. But it's been a really good first half for Melbourne City, and for Jamie McLaren in particular. He scored twice. The first one off his head after a beautiful delivery by Scott Jamieson. The second from the penalty spot after Shane Lowry had handled the ball. Glory might think they should have had a spot kick at the other end for what looked like a foul on Diego Castro, but it wasn't given. And at the break here at a very warm AAMI Park, it's Melbourne City leading Perth Glory by 2-0. Zappa, all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Roston Griffiths, you'd be pretty pleased against your former club especially. You spoke about lack of confidence last week after the game. Is that the tonic you needed, that first half performance?
Absolutely. I think it's been building. I think I said to you last week, you know, we just needed to capitalise on those chances, and we were a bit more direct with our play this week, something we worked on all week, and I think we caught him out. I think we were a bit surprised by that. So hopefully more of the same in the second half, and we don't sort of sit back.
And another warning sign just then at the end there of what Perth is capable of. Is that the message now, just to be aware that they'll come hard in the second half?
Yeah, definitely. That was my man as well, Big Dino Julbic. So I've got to keep an eye on him all second half, but they have got danger, and even from set pieces. So yeah, we've got to stay switched on.
Thanks, Roston.
No worries, thank you.
All right, Melbourne City in command here. They lead by 2-0. Are they on the verge of breaking that 5-game run without a win? Half-time break coming up. And Stash Oganovsky on the other side of the break to go through all the action from the first 45 here at AAMI.
Yeah, got you, mate. Cheers.
Hi, Matty. Yep. Just remind me again. So highlight 1, the goals. Yep. 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 And do we have the Keogh from last season as well? No, you said, was it? Oh, O'Donovan. Oh, okay. All right. It was O'Donovan. Was it Roy O'Donovan? Welcome back to AAMI Park, and it's the home side with a surprise lead at half-time on the ladder. Leaders, the Perth Glory, trailing Melbourne City by 2-0 in a hot one. Sash Oganovsky joins me for half-time. Sash, it's been the home side that's been the hot team, not Perth Glory, as we predicted in the pre-game.
Well, we did, and Melbourne City have come out to their credit. They've fought hard, they've stayed resolute defensively, and they've taken their chances. We spoke earlier on about how many passes they need to actually cross the ball into the box, and the one time that they did get the right delivery, they scored from. So it was an impressive first half, particularly from Melbourne City.
It was indeed, and their man Jamie McLaren, who they brought in the January transfer window, plays his 4th game today, and he has his 4th and now 5th goal for Melbourne City. It's an impressive turn from the marquee man.
Well, they've been playing essentially without a striker for a long time, so this is the delivery we're talking about. He gets there, he gets out wide, gets the ball out wide, takes a touch, has a look, lifts the head, and then delivers a pinpoint pass. We haven't seen that from Melbourne City of late, and today, in the game where they really need to get off on a good foot and start the game really well, he delivers to Jamie McLaren, who's in great form. I mean, you can't ask more than a goal a game, and now he scored 2 in this one, so you can't ask more than that from his striker.
We spoke about it during the pre-game around Melbourne City's indecisiveness, if you like, going forward and passing the ball square and passing it backwards, and we saw Scott Jamieson do exactly what they've been lacking in the last few weeks today.
Well, in all fairness, they haven't had a striker. I mean, Bruno Fornaroli's been sitting in the stands. Jamie McLean's just come in. They're starting to learn his patterns, his running patterns, particularly in the area there. So as that combination and as they learn to trust him more, the ball will get delivered in there a lot quicker. I guess if you had Bruno Fornaroli in there all the time for the major part of the season, you'd probably be whipping the ball in there a lot quicker because he'd be getting frustrated and telling you, I want the ball there, at this moment when I'm making the run and not dilly-dallying around the area.
One of the other things that's great about Jamie McLaren's game is not just his finishing, but his work off the ball. And his work off the ball here creates another opportunity for Melbourne City. I know you've got a view on this handball, being a central defender. What's your view, Sash?
I don't think it's a handball. Where is he supposed to put his hand? We're taught as young kids to support. I mean, what's he supposed to do? He's not a seal. He's got arms. He needs to support it. What does he do? Fall on his shoulder? Risk concussion? Risk the ball hitting him in the head? The ball hits his hand when his hand is pretty much flat on the ground. Like you can't do anything else. He didn't do anything wrong there, and in my opinion, it's not a penalty. And I think the rule needs to be tweaked for instances like that, because I don't think it's a fair penalty, because in that instance, he's got nowhere else to put his arm.
And I think the folk at IFAB, the guys that set the rules, are listening, and they will tweak the handball rule from next season as a result of instances like we've just seen there in the first half. What about, speaking of hands, one day copped one to the face from Shane Harrison. This went unpunished, apart from a free kick. Was there anything more to it than that, perhaps, you think?
I don't think there's anything malicious in it. It does look like a forward sort of forearm to the head. That's referee's discretion, that one. I don't think it was really malicious. I think, he had 2 or 3. His head was down. He saw the player sort of as he looked up, and he's lifted his arm to protect himself. If it hits him in the shoulder, it's not a free kick. But because it's hit him in the face, I think the fair result was the free kick in the end.
What about the other contentious one, if you like, on Diego Castro, Eugene Galekovic coming off his line? The ball's played by Chris Economides here. You think as soon as it's played, Castro's going to finish this, but he's put off by Eugene. He's already delivered the ball, but as Eugene collects him, the ball's still in play, and that's the key point there.
Well, my argument to this is, if that ball hits the post and Castro's the only one in the area to pick up the crumbs, and he's been brought down the way he was, what happens then? What's the decision then? So I don't understand how that isn't a penalty, where he's been taken out. Just because he missed, it doesn't make it not a penalty. If that ball comes back and rebounds off another player or something, and Castro's not available to be on his feet, then that's a foul. And it's a foul anywhere else on the field. And that is a foul. Whether it's sorry to cut you off, that is a foul anywhere on the pitch if that ball's still in play. So I don't see how that is not a penalty.
All right, we've got to go, but VAR didn't look at that one either. It's a huge month of March here on Fox Sports. Matilda's coming up after our game today, but plenty more here on Fox Sports during the month of March.
It's been a tough week for Melbourne City. Lots of speculation over the future of coach Warren Joyce in the wake of the breaking of the contract with Bruno Fornaroli. Perth Glory, their opposition today, sitting serenely atop the A-League ladder by 5 points. They can stretch that out to 8 if they can get the job done here at AAMI Park. A very warm AAMI Park this afternoon. The team news, couple of changes for City, both enforced due to bans to Richie Delat and Bart Schenkerveld, who both accrued 5 yellow cards. Big boots to fill then for Nathaniel Atkinson at right back, and particularly Jacopo LaRocca, who's played just 33 minutes off the bench since his last start against the Mariners. That was back in round 2. Tony Popovic goes with an unchanged lineup, close to a full strength 11 this, with only Tomislav Marcella and Alex Grant ruled out with injury. That front 3 will again be the key: Castro, Keogh and Economides. Our referee is Alex King. Welcome back to AAMI Park. Still pretty warm here. Jamie McLaren is the name on most supporters' lips. He's got the 2 goals that mean the league leaders are struggling to maintain their unbeaten away record this season. Big 45 required from Castro and co if they are to stretch their lead at the top of the A-League back to 8 points. So City getting us back underway. They played really well that first half. The Glory needs a bit of a lift, Andy Harper.
Yeah, they do. And LaRocca on a yellow card wants to watch it. He's just lent in with that forearm again. Keogh's making the point very strongly to referee Alex King at the moment. Let's see what bag of tricks Tony Popovic has dipped into at half-time to turn this result around.
And defensively, they have been so strong, considered just 2 in their last 7 matches, Perth Glory. They've matched that inside 45 minutes here at AAMI Park. Real up and under by Roston Griffiths. And as for McLaren, he now has a remarkable 17 goals and in his last 15 A-League matches. That's going back to his time with Brisbane, of course. But it is some record, isn't it?
It's a great piece of work.
McLaren hasn't scored an A-League hat-trick since netting a treble for Brisbane against the Mariners. It was round 25 back in season 16-17. See if he can complete the treble here in the second half at AAMI Park. Bretton getting the better of Castro, laid off by Harrison, gets it back off Jamieson. Jamison's run was checked by Franic, and Alex King just had a little bit of a think about it, as he did with the penalty first half. And whilst we wait for the free kick, interested in your thoughts on Sasha Ognanovski's view at half-time, Andy, that he thought the penalty award for the handball against Lowry was harsh because he's saying, where else can he put his arm?
No, I'm with him. This is the foul. Frenic couldn't change the course of his run and was on track to knock over Jamieson. Reaches out as well, hence the foul.
And it's going to be Jamieson who slips on takeoff.
Yeah, well, the International Football Administration Board, IFAB, will be changing the handball rule going into next year.
Yep.
Now, at the moment, unequivocally, the law says it must be intentional handball. That's the driving and operative word in the law. So when Shane Lowry slides in, there's no person on earth who slides in like that and doesn't have their arms out to protect their head from whiplash. It's just natural.
Yeah. Scott Jamieson, incidentally, has just called for a new pair of boots after slipping on the deck. He did mention that first half. Oh, that's a very physical challenge by Jason Davidson, and that's being rather kind. Full-blooded.
Well, it certainly is. Clear foul. And I would say on that register, the Melbourne City players have been way more robust to point than Perth have.
Jamieson changing his boots. I wonder whether that's why Luke Bratton has just taken a seat for the moment. Needs a little bit of attention as Luke Bratton, and whilst he gets that, Jamieson will be able to facilitate the change in footwear. Interesting. Anything in that one, or is that my big conspiracy theory?
No, they're entitled to them sometimes. It's unavoidable.
Bratton looks to be moving okay. See if the new boots do the trick for Jambo. Another former Glory player, of course. 3 years in the purple. Scott Jamieson spent. And those boots have given him a bit of extra leap to win that header. A glance over the shoulder by Julbic. Launches it up towards Keogh. And it goes off Bratton. Ivan Franic, for his part, of course, a former Melbourne City player. Won the FFA Cup with them in 2016. Made on the winner for Tim Keogh. Berongay trying to dig it out. Perth have it through Hyundai. Little stumble by Davidson. Quite a few of the players having trouble with their footing.
Yeah, game's not hit rhythm in the second half. Melbourne City is closing things up. Perth not good enough at the moment to break them down.
Davidson. Economides. Weaving his way through. Straight at Jamieson. Helped further away by Atkinson. Kilkenny. Julbic. Hyundai. Castro. Crossing early, but straight at LaRocca. Might get a second bite at it. Oh, that's a gorgeous ball by Castro and Keogh. And Galekovic again. That's two big saves now by the Melbourne City custodian. One at the end of the first half, and that one was equally as important to deny Andy Keogh. As Perth try and build their case. Davidson breaks the challenge of Atkinson. Economides up in the air by Griffiths, and Galekovic will play. And they're grateful to the veteran, Eugene Galekovic here.
Delightful ball from Castro. Just such class in the vision and execution. Difficult one for Castro to reel in first time. Still a good chance, however. Might have been pulled back for offside anyway. But Galekovic did brilliantly. Would have been pulled back for offside according to that line.
Beaten, of course, at his near post in the Melbourne derby last week, Eugene Galekovic, but has redeemed himself so far today. Here's Economides trying to get a bit busier in this second half. Franic is wide right. Behind him is Juande. In the little pocket is Castro. Kilkenny. Beautifully bent by Kilkenny, but Davidson is offside. Which looks a rather basic error by the left wing-back.
Well, they're enjoying some good possession at the moment.
Two of them offside.
Not even leaving it to any doubt. Yeah, not even close. But they've been feeling anchored in Melbourne City's half this period of the game and starting to get a little bit more positive ball movement. Perth Glory, after what was a very stop-start opening. Up to 5 minutes in the second half. So the last few minutes, Perth looking a little bit better.
Castro, right in the challenge of Bratton. He's got the ball on a string at times. Little Spaniard. Keogh being pursued by Curtis Good. It's hard going for Perth, but they get the decision, and Keogh's got a bit to say to referee's assistant on this near touchline. Here's why.
It's definitely a foul. I guess the issue that might start building for Melbourne City is the constant fouling.
City still a long way from home. If Perth can steal one here, it's going to make things very interesting. Kilkenny with the delivery. Flicked off the head of Good. Backus first to it. It's very tidy work by Franic. You've got a kick on the way through from Atkinson as well. Davidson. Works it back inside for Juande. City holding their ground. Everybody behind the ball. Floated forward by Juande. Castro takes it down beautifully. Weaves his way back through traffic. As Davidson available. The cutback for Keogh. Got it all wrong. And flagged up again anyway. And caught offside on far too many occasions, Perth, but that looked promising.
Well, again, players lined up.
Again, it's Davidson and Keogh.
Easy decision for the assistant on the near touchline, Daniel Niewski.
Let the ball outside, not inside.
Here we go. Top scorers this season, Jamie McLaren. If he gets his hat-trick today, he'll be up level with Richie Delat. Which just shows how much they've missed playing with a striker this season. And they've only taken him 4 games to do that.
Yeah, it's already looking like good business.
Talking of which,
So
there is Delat.
So has he been. Delat's been very good value for Melbourne City.
Serving a 1-game ban today for yellow card accrual. Which changes, of course, after this particular round, the split round. gets stretched out to 8 yellows before you serve a ban.
I think the worry that's building here for Melbourne City fans is that with the 2-goal lead, Melbourne City is starting to get sucked back into that pattern again of just defending in a block and making sure the other team doesn't, or hoping the other team doesn't do something miraculous.
They're a long way from home still. Kilkenny slides it out for Davidson.
But there's no proactivity from Melbourne City at all at the moment. And that might just be because Perth have been too good and have wrested control of the match, or it might be a trait that so often has been afforded to Melbourne City, that they just drop into their shell and stop playing.
Well, here's a stat that underlines that. City have scored just 12 second-half goals all season. Only the Mariners have scored fewer in the second halves of games this season. Another up and under by Griffiths. And an arm wrestle between Harrison and Frenich. Jamieson wins the latest round of head tennis. Taran off in pursuit. It was a good first touch that by Reddy.
He's beautiful with his feet.
Because he had to take it away from the oncoming striker, didn't he? Otherwise he could have been in real trouble.
He's one of the best passers of the football in the comp. Very much out of the Matt Ryan mould as far as being proficient with his feet. Outstandingly ready. He's had a good game today. Can't be criticised for either of the goals that have gone in.
And for all his long record in the A-League and his many clubs, which have been well documented, he's never won either the Premiership or a grand final. Sat on the bench for the Wanderers in 15-16 when they lost to Adelaide. So a big opportunity for him and for Perth. Here's Kilkenny. He finds his way through for Keogh. And is that a back pass by Jamieson? Alex King says no. A back pass in the sense, of course, that it was picked up by the goalkeeper, which is against the rules.
It seems the IFAB's getting active on rule changes. This is one that should change. When the ball's live, anything like this, the keeper has to play with his feet.
Davidson, meantime, off the chest of Jamieson this time, corner.
And actually, more pointedly, that's the one I mean. Off your chest, anything back to the goalkeeper is away you go. Because you can pass the ball back by bouncing it with your chest or your head, and the keeper's allowed to pick it up. I don't think that's intentional, but I just think that should be ruled out of the game.
That's the key.
Just play on.
Isn't it? It has to be intentional.
Just play on. Now, what an exciting flurry that would have been.
Yeah. Just the third corner of the game, this. City yet to win one of their own. Kilkenny to deliver, and Lowry threw himself at it, hooked away by LaRocca.
Just on that previous play, however, for Perth, and the bigger question is why Keogh didn't control and lash towards goal himself.
Perth are preparing a double change presently. News on that in a second. Meantime, Davidson. Two attacking changes they are too. Joel Chianese, Brendan Santalab. Came off Dino Djurbic last, but routine for Galekovic. And Joel Chianese has certainly been in very good form this season. As mentioned at the start, 9 assists. And we all know what we're going to get with Brendan Santalab. He'll get 100% commitment. Maybe the odd foul or two, in fairness. Maybe a goal. He's capable of all of it. Economides has been, by his lofty standards, a little quiet today, and he was chopped down by Atkinson. And he's a little frustrated that Alex King doesn't agree that there should be a sanction against the fullback.
First instance, he's away here. This is no problem with the
he does
sliding
win
tackle.
the ball.
Yeah, but before halfway, Atkinson reaches in.
Might have been so lucky this time. They're getting a little heated in there. Alex King's job is to wave them all away and to keep a cool, clear head. Roston Griffiths, wasn't it? Not Atkinson. Economides, the man fouled on both occasions.
Roston Griffiths is complaining that Economides lashed out with his foot.
So Griffiths gets a yellow card. And Economides joins him in the book. And there's a little bit of afters as well, which Alex King didn't miss. From both players.
Well, frustration. Both. He's frustrated. The number of fouls he's suffered today, I'd suggest.
So Santalab and Keonese on for Keogh and Franich. And Shayon Harrison is going to be withdrawn for City. And we're going to see the introduction of Riley McGree. Still waiting for his first goal in the A-League. Shayon Harrison, again, has shown some nice touches in and around the penalty area. He's got a very sweet left foot, hasn't he, the young Englishman? Riley McGree on for what is his 50th A-League appearance. And 5 of the last 8 have been off the bench. Kilkenny with the latest free kick for the Glory. Still trying to find a way back into the contest. Castro. Keonese. Moved on quickly by Hyundai. Kilkenny left it a bit short. Berenguer says, I'll have that. Carries it forward. McGree available on the left. A bit short on numbers though, still City. They attacked with just 3 and Perth easily outnumbered them.
Well, it's a rare excursion into the Perth half from Melbourne City. And apart from the burst through the centre circle from Berenguer, never thereafter looked like materialising into anything. Perth come again. All the territory in the second half. Only threatening Galekovic on a couple of occasions.
City have had just 32% of the ball in the second half. It's actually just gone down to 31. Castro. Keonese in behind. It wasn't a great first touch, which allowed Jamieson to close the gap at the expense of a corner. Pressure building.
They work the space nicely, and Keonese has given already more penetration down the right than Franich was able to muster. But that's partially circumstantial as well. Perth virtually camped in Melbourne City's half of the ground. It does give Keonese an opportunity to start a bit higher up the field than Franich was able to.
Santalab causing mischief with both Bacchus and Galekovic right near the goal line. Clipped in by Kilkenny. Headed away by LaRocca, helped further clear by Berenguer. Returned by Sporanovic. And this might break for Keonese here. Curtis Good ensures it doesn't. And Castro with a rather silly foul, really. Unnecessary, because Jamieson wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, foxed in there. Scott Jamieson.
Shows the desperation of the Glory as they try and work out a way to get back in the game. Down by Kilkenny. Lowry moves it quickly out towards Davidson. Santalab Forced a bit of a stretch from Davidson, readjusted well. Kilkenny, what a ball. Beautifully floated. Keogh. Nobody there to pick up the scraps, though, for Perth. Punched forward by Bacchus, but McLaren tightly watched by both Julbic and Sporanovic. There's no way out for City. Here's Castro in behind. A little backhill, and the flag is up. And Castro shows a little bit of petulance towards the referee's assistant.
Jamieson goes down, takes a knee. Another offside for Perth Glory.
Yeah.
Clear. But tellingly for Perth, Kilkenny is starting to drop the ball on the spot. Absent in the first half, but a lot more precise in the second half. Jamieson's up now. Drink time. Well, the drink break has enabled Scott Jamieson to regain his feet. Remarkable.
Maybe the new boots help. But Perth still no nearer to being able to find a way through. Castro has another little lash out at referee's assistant Daniel Ilievski verbally. And whilst they take their drinks, we'll join Sapper and Sasha.
Yeah, the temperature hasn't subsided at all, Simon. The players taking in those much-needed refreshments now. Sash, Perth Glory, how do they get back into this? We've seen Tony Popovic, he's played his hand now. It's quite an attacking one with the two new wingers and Chris Economides now in that number 9 role.
Yeah, it is. I think their main thing is they're getting caught. They're getting the ball into good positions, but they're getting caught offside. So just keep their eye along the line there. Make sure there's Jason Davidson a couple of times. We just saw the last one there with Castro. Beautiful ball in. Looks like Neil Kilkenny's found his range now as well. Beautiful ball in for for Diego Castro, but he was offside as well. So just timing their runs. Obviously, Sanalab and Economides and Keogh, different proposition for the back four of Melbourne City. We'll see how they go.
And we've seen Neil Kilkenny today wearing that undergarment. I asked you the question, isn't he hot in there? But you used to do the same playing when you were at Sydney FC and before that.
Yeah, I did. I used to like wearing that. You could wet it or put ice in it, and it keeps your body temperature down. So it's not as heavy as wetting your t-shirt. So that's my reasoning behind it.
All right, Warren Joyce about to make a substitution now. Lachie Wales about to come into the fray, Simon.
He is indeed. Thanks very much, Zappa and Sasha. And Florent Berenguer is the man to be replaced on this hot Melbourne afternoon. Lachie Wales just lost his starting spot over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I asked Warren Joyce about it post-loss in Newcastle. He said he just started to look a bit tired in training. And of course, prior to that, he'd won the January nomination for the NAB Young Player of the Month. And has, by and large, Andy, had a really good season, in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. Totally. He's done well at Melbourne City. It was a good piece of work from the football club to recruit Lachie. The Mariners lost, most certainly, but he's come along very well.
So now with McGree and Wales off the bench, a little bit more energy. Perhaps they can offer a little bit more support to get the ball up to Jamie McLaren and try and wrestle the initiative back for Perth, because it's been one-way traffic second half without, it has to be said, too many threats on Eugene Galekovic's goal.
No, that's true. The offside has been the Achilles heel for Perth to be able to seriously build some pressure, but they've got a lot of territory. Melbourne City, I mean, this is the tap, and they haven't shown any ability, or much say inclination particularly, to break out of this and start proactively addressing the Perth situation and trying to dominate the game. They're very happy to sit and absorb now.
A little too passive for your liking.
Well, you know, it's each to their own, and Joyce's business and how he coaches the team. I was thinking from a fan perspective, you're playing at home. Just want to see a little bit more. But the first half showed plenty.
Kenny, so if you're applying pretty decent pressure, are Perth good enough to play out? Looks like it. Griffiths returns it with interest. Spranovic's header, a little bit short of Julbic. McGree got a piece of it. Still Perth are boxed in, ready. It's pretty cool under pressure. Economides. Juande. Davidson just trying to help it along down the line. Atkinson's throwing the ball away. Good ball. Davidson. There's Economides in attendance. Lovely first touch to get to the byline and get beyond LaRocca. Just not quite able to pick out the teammate he wanted. Here's Lockie Wales getting the motors running. Bacchus. Wales again. A bit more intent from City. Swept away for now by Matt Sporanovic. That's a good touch by Economides. Jake Brimmer being readied as Perth's third and final change. Meantime, floated towards Chianese by Lowry. Good touch by Castro. Chianese stays in play. Back they come through Juande. Castro again. Finds Chianese beautifully and has continued the run. Chianese happy to use him as a decoy. Juande to drive forward. It's too deep though for Davidson. He will retrieve. But guess what? He's offside again. How many times is that in the second half, Andy?
It's unforgivable, really. You know, Perth today with their offsides are not particularly any different from any other teams and games.
Now, don't forget, big game coming up from Suncorp Stadium. Right on the back of this, the Matildas, who got the job done against New Zealand a few days ago. Hallie Rasso, of course, was among the scorers. They take on the South Koreans. That's coming up right after this. Should be a good crowd for that one as well. Meantime, the Glory empty their bench. Kilkenny takes his leave. And the fresh legs of Jake Brimmer will replace him in the heart of the Glory midfield. There he is, 20-year-old. Been used mainly off the bench this season. A player who had 3 years as a junior with Liverpool. Who, of course, are in Premier League action tonight against Everton. Massive game, that. One or two in these parts will be watching that with interest as well, given the tie-up with Manchester City. City have so far survived the, what do you call it, an onslaught by Perth. Certainly territorially they've been very dominant, but
there's two.
They've been relatively comfortable, haven't they?
They have. There have been two major issues that I think have worked significantly in Melbourne City's favour, and they've applied themselves well, so I don't offer this as a criticism. The penalty not given on Castro, which I believe was a stone wall penalty, changes the complexion. And Perth would have more wind in their sails now. They couldn't control that. What they can control is this procession of offsides. Defenders just relax, pressure off. And Perth, like a lot of good teams, one of the foundations of their success is their ability to turn the screws on teams, to build pressure. And constantly, when you've got your opposing defence stretched, you let them off the hook by being offside, not once, not twice, but 5, 6 times. Really difficult to get them to the point where they're going to crack.
Castro closed down really effectively by McGree, who then drives through midfield. It's an exciting run from Riley McGree. Is that touch too heavy, though? It is. was a really well-timed challenge by Sporanovic, and then subsequently by Brimmer as well. And Perth are back on the front foot. But just for a moment, you thought it might open up for Riley McGree. Instead, it's Castro in the other half of the field, trying to bend it around for Santalab.
That was a good effort from Castro. Just such a beautiful pass with the football and saw that angle. This is great work from Riley McGree against the aforementioned. Really powerful player, Riley McGree.
But it's that touch there, isn't it?
Just too heavy. Well read by Sporanovic. And a good tackle there from Brimmer, as you called it, Simon.
Keogh uses Fuande behind him. Now Julbic. Pitch now fully bathed in shadow. Sun breaking through the clouds on the far side of the pitch, lighting up part of the grandstand. Perth yet to light up this game, the league leaders. Economides. Just ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac, teed up again by Brimmer. Fuande. Castro. It's so difficult against a packed defence, isn't it? Can they unlock the door? Keogh. Castro, full of running, gets a corner off Bratton.
Well tracked, Luke Bratton. It is very disciplined defending in Melbourne City. Very, very disciplined, well organised, full of commitment. I mean, they're not letting runners go. Look at this from Bratton. Just got to stretch out and put in a couple more big ones to block this cross, and he finds the required energy. Speaking of, a lot of work from Diego Castro in possession and off the ball, trying to prise open a gap, sense an opportunity.
Again, Brendan Santalab causing mischief on the goal line. Getting betwixt and between Galekovic and Bacchus and Atkinson. He's right in the middle of it. Brimmer goes low. Bratton stuck out of boot. Perth are forced back again. To start from square one in the shape of Sporanovic. Brimmer. Too heavy. Well, the pattern of the game is clearly set. Second half. City have got the lead, and they're simply saying to Perth, if you want to take it off us, you've got to come after us.
Yeah, just a question being asked of Luke Bratton by the Melbourne City medical staff. So give us a few more minutes. Griffiths then made his way over to his midfield partner to see if everything was okay.
It was okay enough to make that sure touch to place it in front of Bacchus. Now with Atkinson on the right. Rare sight of Perth Glory half of the field, second half. Throw has gone Perth's way though. Griffiths has been robbed by Economides. Davidson on his bike down the left. Onside this time. Nodded clear by Good. Goes off Curtis Good. Perth, understandably, of course, anxious to get things moving again, quickly as possible. Economides let it run through his legs to try and get around Atkinson, who wasn't fooled. He's done well, Atkinson. Hyundai. Too hot to handle for Castro.
Yeah, it's pretty rudimentary, isn't it, though, from Melbourne City? It's half a chance to get on the ball, just whack it. Not leaving a lot to the imagination. They're relying on their defensive resilience, which has been profound so far in this game. Credit to them for that.
Tony Popovic's team, you'll see their gap at the top cut to 5 points after this split round of games. Look at that next 5 for Glory as we move towards the pointy end of the season. A victory at home after a trip to Adelaide, and looming large, Harps, round 26. Sydney FC away, currently in second. Could all about to get very interesting. You never know. Davidson, unless they can turn things around here. That's a good one too with Economides. Davidson hangs it up. Keogh! They've got one back. Now we've got a grandstand finish at AAMI Park. Joel Keogh with just his 4th of the season, and it gives the Glory hope.
Well, beautiful exchange. This was set up by Davidson. Beautiful run inside and then through 2 players. The 1-2, stay on side. Guess what happens? Hangs it up into the box beautifully. And with the height on this cross, there was enough time for a Melbourne City player maybe to have put more pressure on Keogh, but not to be. Good header from the substitute.
A goal for Joel lifts the spirits of those wearing purple in the stands, and there are plenty of them here today. Dylan Parias is going to be sent on presently for Melbourne City. Can they hang on?
It's going to be a rousing 10 minutes. Santalab steaming in there and adjudged to a foul. Going to stop him from steaming in. Try and change this around. It is Bratton to make way. Whatever's wrong with him hasn't gone away as a consideration. He's off, slightly limping. Maybe that ankle in the first half was the problem.
They did pull up a little short after stretching to block that Castro cross some minutes ago, so maybe that's the issue as well. We'll try and find out for you. Meantime, the youngster Dylan Parias, just 19 years of age, is on the pitch for just his 2nd appearance of the season and just his 3rd overall for the senior team. City trying to apply the press again, but Perth are good enough to play out, and they can now open the pitch up. And Davidson is often running down the left. He's clattered into by Atkinson. Alex King's going to bring them back, and I think he's going to issue a card here to Nathaniel Atkinson. He is. He crunched into Davidson. Bang.
Yeah. Decent hip and shoulder. And then after that, LaRocca on a yellow card sends Economides, I think, into the advertising hoardings.
News on Bratton, incidentally, it's just a cork. Melbourne City thought they'd put the cork in the bottle, didn't they? Got late on in the game without concession, but that Joel Keogh header has made things very interesting late on here at AAMI Park. Hyundai going straight for Castro. Davidson didn't read that one quickly enough, and City survived for now.
Decent idea from Castro. Just overhit. And now the big question with about 10 to go. Do Melbourne City just continue on this path and hang on, try and hang on, or do they actually think, you know what? Our best way out of this is to put some pressure back on Perth.
Well, you know, Scott Jamieson said a couple of weeks ago he thought that the team's biggest problem was game management. And I think we've probably seen a bit of that here again today. They're pretty good first half.
Yeah. Defended well second half, but no intent to
but
play
defended
outside of that.
very deep, very early on in the second half. I mean, last 10, you're 2-0 up, you can sort of understand that. But when there's still 40 minutes to go...
And the way Perth finish matches, which has been a big part of their season.
Yep.
And again, decision in the end of the first half that went the way of Melbourne City.
Here's Perez trying to relieve the pressure. No foul by Lowry, goal kick. And just on those late goals, Glory have now scored 12 times, Andy, in the last quarter of an hour of matches so far this season. So they'll finish strongly.
Yes, they will. They have left their run pretty late. Popovic was certainly energised by that goal, and you can imagine the ripple effect through the team. Keogh's has been great this season.
Revitalised, hasn't he? Till Keogh under Tony Popovic. Really made a big contribution. Here's Economides. Davidson, the cutback, Castro, good block by Good. Had to be two.
It's Jamieson.
It is Jamieson. My apologies to Scott Jamieson, and he copped a whack in that as well, but he's up and about. His team needs it.
It's a good tackle, really good tackle.
Keogh again. Too deep for Economides.
Made the space beautifully. Well, Castro's eyes are lighting up. Jamieson stands his ground. Great captains knock this.
So that's exactly the same thing. Leading by example.
John Keogh ghosting in. Riley McGree let him run past him. Riley McGree let Joel Keogh run past him and didn't react. And there's the lifeline for Perth.
Just two shots. That's how difficult it has been, though, to find a way through this City blue wall for Perth. They've scored with one of them. And the news from the sideline is we're going to have 5 additional minutes to be added on at the end of the 90. Lowry fans trying to lift their team. That's such a good season.
So 5 minutes of stoppage time, Simon.
I presume includes the well, it must include
including the drinks break.
Yeah.
Who's doing the maths here?
Plus we've had all 6 substitutions, which is supposed to add, what is it, 30 seconds per change?
And a goal, and a couple of attentions for injured players.
Anyway, see if Perth need that 5 minutes to find the goal they want. One day, Castro, so clever. Bree in the way. Jamie McLaren's barely had a touch second half. Lowry. Perth camped in City's half of the pitch. Economides. Quando. Brimmer wants a bit of movement up ahead. Economides. Keogh. Quando. Castro. Gonna have a go here. Diego Castro! Splendid! What a strike by the Spaniard to draw Perth level in the first minute of stoppage time. And the frowns turn to smiles on the faces of those Glory fans. It is a glorious goal by their most glorious player. 2-2.
Well, McLaren back trying to add numbers to an already packed defence, but it's to no avail. Heads go into hands. But they've asked for it, Melbourne City, by not playing. After going 2 up, and that's all that Diego Castro needs. We saw Dimi Petrados last night with a worldie. Add that to the collection for the weekend. Super from the Spaniard.
And you've got to say, there's a fair bit of faults here. Eugene Galekovic as well. He just pulls his hand away.
He thinks it's going over.
Total misjudgment.
But they'll do well to hang on from here, Melbourne City. sucked in to a vortex of their own making. And Perth, who've set the league alight with this resilience and never out of it mentality. Late goals, late comebacks, final quarter hour of heroics, all on show here again in Melbourne.
As you say, Harps, really, City only have themselves to blame. It's party time in the travelling part of the ground.
Well, the tour of duty was looking like a tour of doom just a few minutes ago. And those fans, given what they've done to get here, and they do every year, deserve something to cheer about. Well, Castro again has given them that beautiful goal. Acres and acres of space, however, on the edge of the box for a team that's defending in numbers. Go figure that one out.
I also think you've got to, as mentioned, point the finger of blame at Galekovic, who just clearly misjudged that one. Actually pulled his arm away from it.
Yeah, he thought it was going over. Misjudgment from Eugene just goes to show even the very best. Miscue. However, he was beaten at the near post last week in the derby to concede points. As it turned out, there was plenty of time after that, of course, for Melbourne City to do something.
Not too much time left here. Here's Castro. Can he weave his magic a second time? Finds the gap for Chianese. Santalab. City sitting back, inviting pressure. It's a risky game. Santalab fires over.
That's a lot of space, Pete. Given everything for Brendan Santalab to have. I mean, one shouldn't have to be warned of his danger as a goal-scoring specialist off the bench. Here
1 minute to go.
Here they come, the glory.
Davidson, Santalab in position. He waits. It doesn't quite sit for him. Jamieson will carry it away. Maybe City have done enough to hang on for the point. Piraeus on the right. It's a really strong run by the young substitute. City 2 goals to the good at half-time. And they've been pegged back by a dogged Glory display and a rather deep defensive mindset. Could the home team steal it at the end? Offside against Wales. Might be the last chance of the game, this. Glory can get it forward quickly enough.
And now is when that extra 5 minutes becomes a chat.
Yeah, but it is to no avail. It ends all square. 1 or 2 boos from the home fans. Disappointment for Melbourne City. There were 2 goals to the good, thanks to Jamie McLaren's double in the first half, but they couldn't hang on. They sat very deep second half, and Glory got back into it. Substitute Joel Chianese with the first, and then Diego Castro with a long-range bomb in stoppage time at the end of the game. It's 2 draws in 2 matches for the Glory, who edged 6 points clear on the back of this result. City, for their part, will feel it should have been all 3 for them. It finished Melbourne City 2, Perth Glory 2 here at a very warm AAMI Park.